Hello everybody, thank you so much for joining me. Polina here, talking to you a little bit about this very intimidating and very curious, very colorful and also very freeing eclipse, full solar eclipse and new moon happening on the 19th to the 20th of April. We are about a week away. So for now, it seems like you guys have probably come prepared. I feel that some people already kind of can see the obvious truths, and they can figure out pretty fast as to what has to come and what has to go. And also I have a feeling that quite a lot of people have a very, very nice relevant timeline. There is a relevance eventually scoped out by Aries that we're going to keep and embed in Taurus. So basically what I'm saying is that we're going to have to see the husk and the grain, and we have to really learn these lessons now. There's Jupiter also conjunct Eris, which is going to give us a lot of self-esteem and soulfulness. And that means to me that quite a lot of these decisions and rules are a no-brainer. It's like, you just don't do that anymore, or this is how you have to do it from now on. It's a very nice, obvious emotion. And quite a lot of people are really quite prepared and quite evolved enough to be able to change their path and to be also able to change their psyche and the way that they work on the inside, you know. So because of this, it's very, very hard sometimes. It is dark. Rabbit here is known for the shadow. It's known for having those dark feelings, a dark night of the soul. There are certain people that are going to have to go through that and be way beyond it when they wake up. There are some people that don't have to go through the night of the soul because they've already kind of sorted it out. So a very, very good, keen eye for detail is needed here. And also I have a feeling that because of a designer energy in a rabbit here, because of how it's placed and how it likes to keep things just so, there's going to be probably quite a feeling of intimacy between things that are growing. There's going to be almost like a holding of a breath. There is a feeling of wellness already. There's a feeling of intensity and a true loyalty, and also there has to be, of course, as with any eclipse, is going to have to be a demise. And quite a lot of it probably will have to do with food habits, with hygiene. I feel quite a lot of people will have to block off their previous work, or they will have to say, no, I need some time apart. There's a shifting away from certain relationships and certain stabilities. There's some people saying no to a previous identity, no to a previous way that they have been seeing themselves, and also how their life has been designed. So that's a very, very big call, you know, for me as a reader. I'm feeling there's going to be just a very clear-cut picture, a very open and beautiful energy coming through even before the eclipse hits us. So we don't have as much of a looming shadow self coming through this time. We have Jupiter traveling with the Sun. Yes, of course, we have Chiron as well. But Eris is very well prepared to give us this confidence and this beauty and the self-esteem. And if you look at the chart with the asteroids, I've posted it on my Patreon. Fortune is next to the ascendant. And also Neptune is very close to the ascendant. So there is a very amazing dream, or a dreamlike state, that quite a few of us are already prepared to go forward and enjoy. And also I feel a lot of people are saying, I don't want this anymore, I want this upgrade really, really quickly. And also the upgrade could be not maybe neutral. It could actually have always been. I feel that people are so stuck sometimes on their ancestries and the way they were brought up and how they've experienced life and what they've expected to receive, and they never really realized, I could have always identified as this, or I could have always dressed this way, or I could have always been that kind of person. I never needed to be shy. I never needed to be compromised. I never needed to be feeling sad or sulky, I didn't have to play that part. I didn't have to be that kind of person. I didn't have to be this kind of partner to my spouse. I didn't have to be this kind of friend to this other person. So all these roles are like a shuffling of a deck of cards, and there's going to be more than enough people coming out of this, coming out of things, just things that they've got going on in their life, feeling just more important and more obvious. And also there's going to be, just simply said, another life. So many people are just going to be like, yeah, so what? Now I get to do this instead. And it's a very, very nice, refreshing feeling. But there are a lot of very arrogant people, and there's very bossy ways that people are going to come through. And there's going to be quite a lot of arrogance and vulnerability, pessimism, there's going to be denial, there's going to be all of these different character traits that we don't usually like in one another, but they're going to come through. It's like, well, stuff this, I don't like this, or I don't want to just like let it go. I want to have a fight, and then I'm going to let it go. Or I'm going to go and tell that person what I'm really feeling, and I'm going to teach that guy a lesson. You know, that kind of thing is happening now. So basically the whole quantum is lost. The idea basically is to have some time alone. Aries is kind of known to be a slightly solitary energy sometimes when it needs to sort itself out, and there's no problem. So it's like, look, I just got to go on my own. I got to sit down. I got to feel my feelings, and I got to really, really know, and I've also got to let go and understand, because in eclipse is about letting go. And though new moons are usually about seeding and a certain type of perfect path being seen finally after maybe even years of not being able to see the truth, there's going to be always a little bit of a dim light to these paths if they start on an eclipse. So a solar eclipse does not necessarily give you a most favorable or admirable path. Even if we are in this incredible cusp between Aries and Taurus, even if there's Eris in the mix, even if there's Jupiter, even if the North Node is just about to be illuminated by the sun itself, even though we have so many beautiful things happening and there are so many gifts given, there's so many colors, there's such treasure. As we go into the bottom of the chart, also with Venus being in Gemini, treasure, there's such treasure and cradling of certain aspects of life. There is an extra bounty, there's an extra spice, there's an extra flair. Rabbit here is about flair. It's an extra flair given to things, and at the same time, within all of this frill and within all of this perfection also, yes, with Lilith being in Leo also, there is still going to be not enough. And I'm seeing it very, very hard. It's very, very hard to see this. Like, for example, even if you have broken in, even if you have fully understood your mind, even if you have displayed quite a lot to yourself, and this Aries time has really taught you about who you are, where you fit, your identity and everything like that, there is kind of like a falling short, and there's a shortness of breath. So in terms of starting a project, as I am kind of coming to see that I might actually make a project out of what I've been doing, I've been restoring clothes. I've been making colorful, trendy items because I've just enjoyed it so much. I will be posting a video about this on my Inspired Life channel shortly. There's like something that kind of happens with this kind of moon. It's sort of like gets stuck. It's like, I want to be this person, but I don't have any money yet, or like, I don't have enough time, or like, I don't know if I can handle this, or like, wow, there's so much to do. There's a breathlessness that this eclipse is going to give to the whole stellium. So you can see like the whole chart with the asteroids, what's in the stellium. So this is not just a new moon. This is not just a solar eclipse. It is like a group shift. It's a consciousness shift for probably quite a lot of people around you also. Being suddenly seen a completely different way, being in a completely different group of people, being noticed in a different way, or wanting to self-express or self-please or self-stimulate in a different type of group setting or in a different type of context. So here we have a big change, a karmic change. So this is not just about, I'm going to change this to this. No, this is about changing your life. So let's look at the stellium. Who do we have here? We have Chiron, Jupiter, Eris, Moon and Sun in Aries, tiptoeing around there. Well, it's kind of like the Sun and the Moon are between Aries and Taurus. Then we also have North Node. We've got Vesta, the righteous. Then we have Uranus also, Juno, the fresh, the free, even the juvenile, or like the trendy, the fashionable, the young, the juicy, the fresh. And we have beautiful Mercury there in Taurus. So there's probably quite a lot of us that are going to have a complete mind-boggling change, and that's probably going to come in many. So for example, in your town, suddenly somebody wants to perform classical music. Then somebody else suddenly catches on and they start collecting certain items that are of like ancient Bohemian cultures. Then somebody else knows a really beautiful fairy tale they want everybody to see, and they put it into a theater piece. So it's like the whole consciousness grows, everybody upgrades. It's like on your street, every house has a renovation, or every single person in your group starts to think, feel, or even imagine things in a certain way. So there are kind of forces between us also that circulate energy, and we can also block and unblock each other. So what not to be, I suppose, I usually say it, if you are looking at somebody spinning a certain story, get out of their way, especially during the first part of the year. And I have to remind people that 21st of March, the equinox, is the beginning of the year. Between the 21st and the 25th is like the beginning of the year. And also the ancient people did celebrate the beginning of the year in the 25th of March. I won't get into this. This is boring stuff. I'm sure if you listen to my videos enough, or you see me enough, you probably know. You already know. So if we think about this as a beginning, the start of the sequence of the zodiac, basically what happens is we can't afford to take that much time or energy with anything or anybody. We shouldn't stand there next to somebody trying to help them up if we are not fully interested and intentional. We can't be a wet blanket either. So what I mean wet blanket is a person that doesn't really do anything in the group. You can't be redundant. Also, you can't be overly aggressive, wanting people to change their lives, or wanting people to see you in a different light, wanting to get a certain career, wanting to help somebody or heal your wounds or even heal yourself. So like this obstruction of natural flow and natural processes is going to cost you time, money, energy. So how to prepare for this time? I feel it's very important not to be in anybody else's karma. You know, so this is very difficult if you like have people living in your house. It's very difficult if you have friends coming over constantly. If you're working in customer care of any kind, it's gonna show through. Somebody looks at you this way, somebody's sad, somebody's angry, somebody's very mighty and very emotional, very bossy. You won't be able to help yourself but to unconsciously play with them. So the whole concept of growing with other people, the concept of changing simultaneously and embracing this kind of unity that the stellium new moon eclipse of the sun is going to involve, it's very, very good to stay very straight and narrow and to connect the dots in your psyche first. And if you are able to stand on your feet, and if you feel very, very strong, legit, and brave, and absolute in who you are and what you are here doing, you can change other people around you. It's like spinning dervishes. You know, it's like you start to spin, they start to spin, or you can like spin energy around you. That's a very, very beautiful dream time that I'm seeing. If you are very, very strong and good looking also, because we're in Aries, at the end of Aries, good looking with Venus also in Gemini, good feeling, trendy, happy, happening person. If you have a certain type of bounce, if you have a certain type of echo, for example, wow, she wore that, I want to wear the same thing, or like, wow, where did you get this? Or wow, I love how you cook, like I want to learn what you do, like this kind of echo. Now that's where we're really talking. So like with all sincerity, I don't really want to like narrow down my audience to this, because I know some people are older now and they're not really like pleasure hunting or pleasure seeking, and they're not like offering themselves out to be sounding board for other people, and neither are they trying to influence anybody anymore. So if you're quite young, that's a very, very nice thing to catch on to. If you are young at heart, or a beautiful, brave person, or if you had to start your karma again, which I would actually salute, even if you're in your 70s, if you suddenly wanted to have a fresh start and do things completely different in Aries, even if it's immature for your age, as they would say, I salute you. I'm proud of you. If you decided to put your best foot forward, if you wanted to make an impression, if you wanted to make a difference, even like a genius difference to a timeline, that's a very, very healthy and happening energy during this time. And also, if you are growing into a very, very kind of I suppose, dubious and helpless person, if you're still relying on somebody else, or you're still kind of trying to grind for a pattern that is wearing thin. So that's where you have holes in your reality. Everything is late, nothing is orderly, everything is out of control. You got holes. It's almost like having fabric that is ripped. You can't do this anymore. You have to change your life. It's a good idea to patch up. But for those people that are young at heart and they're trying something different, you will see an echo by now. There needs to be an echo. If there is no echo, don't worry about it. So are you resonant? Now is a very interesting time to see if you come into some kind of fruition already. So that first bout of Aries, this epic time to change your life, this epic time to change your story, take the opportunity, make yourself grow, make yourself exquisite, change your life, change your dream has come for quite a lot of us. And not every single person is real enough, ready enough, conscious enough, or true enough to make it work. But there are going to be also guides and guidelines. And these are the ones that echo and repeat. Like, for example, your voice, your words carry, and a lot of people remember, and they carry it back to you. It gets back to you. Somebody's been repeating what you've been saying, or somebody was really interested in what you were doing. That's great. That's an echo. That's a story. Repeat that story, especially if it was good. Like, say, I felt victorious in that story. Repeat the story. That's good. That's good. That's a good pattern to have. And also, if you like, you can even feed it with an affirmation. For example, I've made something everybody loved. I made a whole bunch of cakes, and everybody gave me nothing but compliments, nothing but love for those cakes. Everybody said they were exquisite, and I even got like a job, or like I got promoted, or I got numbers, I got contacts, I got offerings out of giving people something that I've made. So that's very beautiful. If you have an echo, make it sure that you know. So also I feel a lot of masculine people, not necessarily male, androgynous people, they really suffer because sometimes we think we haven't done it even though we've done it, you know. So it's like, that's how come you need to have your trophies outside. You have to sometimes have a space for your trophies. You have to understand what you've done. You have to sometimes have that diploma or that stamp, because that makes you feel achieved. Because sometimes, not because you need it necessarily, we just forget as people. And if you've been very, very humbled by life, you'll just forget it. It's like, yeah, sure, yeah, I've done a great thing. Yeah, whatever, I know, I don't care. That's a way of disrespecting you. Also, I've been doing that all my life, actually forgetting what I've done. Like, I'll do something, I'll do something amazingly, and then I'll think that I didn't do it. So that keeps me competing with me and trying new ways out, trying new ways of innovating me in my life. But that basically sometimes can break down a spirit. So if you are never ready, also if you are knowing that you're one of those people that's never able to graduate, you know, it's like, I'm never good enough. Or like, the worst I've done is this. I know every single bad thing I've done, but I don't actually even know or even want to think about anything good that I've done. And it's going to always lead to, but I'm not ready. No, you are ready. How can we mature you to be ready? So sometimes certain people, maybe out of lack of partnership or lack of certain family dynamics, they have never felt like they were ready for life. It's like, I couldn't do that. I wouldn't be able to do that. Oh, poor little old me. Oh, no. I wouldn't be able to afford that. Or I can't believe that I could do it. Now is like a very big maturing time. It's like something like putting, I don't know, a banana in a microwave and it ripens very quick, you know, that kind of thing. There is a certain story that you have had in your mind, like maybe one day, for example, I could have been on TV, or maybe one day I could have had a best friend, or maybe one day, I don't know, I could probably have entered into this door. The ripening has begun very fiercely, and for quite a few people, I know this sounds very confused. You are done, you finished, you're ready. You are done, you finished, you're ready. This is it. This is it. Now is the time. You are ripe. It's just that sometimes people think, no, I'm not. Yeah, you are. No, no, no. I still got to learn. No, no, no. I'm not walking the right way. Or like, I can't really play guitar yet. Or I can't really speak my mind. So we have to become very, very obvious when we are okay with things. And you're like, okay, look, you got things to a pretty good standard. You know, like where's Hygia at the moment? Hygia is conjunct Eros and Chariklo and and Aquarius, you know. So there's going to be like a heavy burden, and that is also at a square to this Mercury, you know, to the stellium actually happening in Taurus, you know, a nice kind of fixed sign stellium. So like we have a very, very like hard condition maybe sometimes. And also for quite a lot of people, they're not able to progress because they have wanted to stick around and stay old-fashioned. You know, so talking progress, Uranus is so, so very close to the sun. So we are going to be asking progress, 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 freshness, diplomacy as well, care, design, all the beautiful chivalry, all the beautiful things. But there has to be some very, very big breakthrough for quite a lot of people. And I feel you on this if you really don't want to. Sometimes, like, I don't want to get out of bed. Like, I don't want to, like, go out there, face the day. And yeah, unfortunately, you have to. And the time is now, and it is the time to, yeah, maybe keep things neat because we are in the rabbit year. Yeah, I'm not saying to just like, blah, like splash energy. Although for some people that's very healing, though not the healthiest. We need to retain the energy here. We need to cook it. Even like this is hard. Like keep things sterile, keep things tidy. It's looking like quite a lot of people can just speak, just do, just go, but also like imagine what that does to a person near you. So if you're going to expand also on the other hand, without any compassion for anybody else, if you're just going to push everything over, or if you're going to push your previous work or your previous self-identity or self-esteem over and go, nah, I've had enough. Now that's going to hurt something or somebody, including yourself. But there is also a need for a nice neutral between that ravenous, I'm ready for the new dream feeling, and also that part of you that needs to hold things down. So like, what is appropriate, what is not. I've actually watched me and other people dance out of previous karmas all this year, actually. Especially this month, I've seen a lot of things become really blatantly obvious. It's like, I just cook and clean because I was taught women cook and clean. That's how I was raised. Or I just expect certain things to happen in my life because it's what I was wanted to do, or by my parents, or like that's what they all said I would end up doing, and that's what I ended up doing. So these kind of karmas, I've had quite a lot of people come a lot for readings last month, which were repeating, they were repeating ancestral and collective karmas, and they were saying words that they were taught to say, and they were doing things they were taught to do, and they were giving out energy on a level that they were basically taught to give it out. So they didn't have any self-esteem, they didn't have any self-knowledge. They kind of, sort of, in a way, gently, in a very, very kindly manner, in a very sort of stiff manner, sort of walked through life and hoped that something else would happen. I kind of hope. It's almost like a beggar sitting on the street with a hand like this, you know. It's like, I kind of hope that somebody would notice me. I hope that somebody, that's it. I hope somebody would walk past me and notice that I'm actually a very caring person. I hope that life will just sort it out for me. please universe guide me, that kind of thing. And yes, our universe often does, and I do speak of open doors and burrows during Rabbit. So safety, connection, and containment and care. And then there's like, you know, like, no stopping you here, you have to leave, you have to go, you have to do something different, you have to try something else, you have to try something new, you have to try something neat, you have to also experience incredible vulnerability while you're sprinting for the next level of your life. But then, yeah, I'm kind of like noticing quite a lot of people are starting to notice certain individuals that don't actually know how, but everything lands in their lap. That also happens, and the reason is because they've mastered themselves enough to not preoccupy themselves with certain thinking patterns, mainly certain organizations, and should do, you know, could do, must do, I have to do, the to-do list that you don't really like. You know, so if you're looking at your to-do list and you're like, oh, damn it, there is something wrong. You know, so either you don't appreciate or respect life, you know, like we do, you know, kind of, yeah, that's the thing. Do you really have to stand there and cook? Do you have to sit there and listen to another person? Did you really have to walk with that person? Do you have to spend your time there? We have a lot of also cultural questions. You know, did I get taught that? Is this like what my mother thought I would be? Or is this actually who I am meant to be biologically, physically? And yeah, also, I suppose some people would definitely, not everybody, benefit from trying to stay safe with this because they don't want to accidentally push you over the edge. And they have to basically sit down and think, or stand and think, I don't know, like, who am I? What do I really want? And who am I going to become if I keep on doing this? And like, why am I still there? Why do I have to go through so much stuff to do like my daily work? Why does it take me so long to get out of bed? Why? Like, what for? I have stagnation. Why do I have lag in my life? Why do I take so much time to solve a story? Why? So not everybody, but some people have to get very robust and very built and be like, I don't actually want a home-cooked meal. I'm quite happy with just like, honestly, this nut bar and this apple and this amazing friend of mine, and we're just gonna go and do whatever, and we're gonna find some people, hey, like, let's go like visit this place. Oh wow, a bowl of food, that's really nice. Well, never mind. You know, some people are really risk-taking this time, and I did talk a lot about these people, and they're really, really in the heart. There is a certain phenomena happening where people are like, all I really need is a pair of shoes in my bag, and I don't care about nothing. I can just go and do what I like. And they keep on kind of stating that, and I'm feeling like there is like a whole layer of society, maybe because of need, because of lack, because of fear, because of certain governmental things, people are waking up and becoming this kind of G.I. Joe or G.I. Jane. Like, I don't care about any of this. I can just pack up my bag and just walk out the door anytime, all the time, everlastingly. I can do anything here. I'm not just like sitting down waiting. I'm not just cooking meals and waiting for people to show up. I'm not just like tending to other people's children and like trying to be a nice person. I'm not trying to be a mom or a dad to the village. I'm just going to be whoever I want to be. I can come and go as I please, and I can do whatever I want, anytime I want. That's a hero and a master, and these people probably don't need anything. That's a really huge phenomenon taking shape, but there is also like an inbuilt system that is quite deep and quite penetrating, and not everybody is going to be open to it. So they are not the people that probably everybody needs right now. This is like going against the grain, against the system or against the world. But this is always friendly and always kind of wanted, but it's such a big fire, such a big fiery person. It's hard to warm your hands against this person. It's like you got to kind of step back. So this is kind of like the lion and the rabbit, you know. So who is the lion? Who is that fighter? Who is that warrior? And where is life? Like, where are we? Like, some people are like, wow, that's really strange, that's really crazy. And I think there's a lot of things happening, like, wow, that person eats like this, wow, that's really strange, that's really crazy. Or like, that person's dressing like that, that's really strange, that's really crazy. And then you get these like real rebels that are not just like rebelling against anybody, they're just like rocking and rolling and just pulling themselves out of their previous life with the whole root system, like replanting a plant. and saying, hey, I'm going to go to a better place than this. Travelers, very free people, relationship free people. They don't need anybody. They don't need anything. They don't need anything at all. They are a big chance. That's a big story. That's a very large energy. That's a huge stretch. These are big pans. These are big hands. That's a big hero. That's a big heart. So yeah, I'm noticing that it's happening maybe also on a minute level to some people. Like there is this kind of question, well, what the hell do I need any of this for? None of this makes sense. And then there is also, yeah, how do you want to live? And what is the kind of life you want to live? And for some people, honestly, without a doubt, it's just the moment. That's a great guide. That's a genius. That's the genuine thinking pattern. That's a human. That's a complete package. So if you have people like that around, don't be scared or judgmental of them. If people are just like, look, I'm just going, I'm just this, I'm just spinning, I'm just raging. But this can also actually happen in a prism, within a prism. Like say when I'm talking, I can do anything I want. You know, I'm like a circus performer. You know, this is like vocal gymnastics, you know. Some people like when they're shopping or like when they're doing, when they're drawing, when they're dancing, when they're channeling something, or when they're like talking to their best friend, that's also kind of how you might tap into this energy. Like I can fly, I can keep going and going and going and going. Trajectories, Jupiter, also kind of about this. Trajectories and having a long life, having a long future. Like I could just do this and then do this and then do this and then do this. How do you see when a project is stuck? Because you can only see it just past a certain level. And then like there's a certain type of project or workload or worldview. It's like just the minute I start, I can't stop. I think that's really, really important to see. And also sense, and also kind of be careful with, because not everybody is as brave as I'm saying. And if you don't have it in you naturally, don't try. Don't try. So this can only probably happen in some cases. Also speed, velocity, also vulgarity. At the same time, vulgarity or epicness, or wanting to just kind of like drift apart this world, like just pull it all apart. And there's sometimes these personalities, you know, they happen. So for example, when people drink a lot in certain clubs and certain types of parts of society, I'm not judging anybody, I'm just saying, these people, these larger than life people, larger than life, larger than the road, larger than their wallet, larger than anything that's ever been in their life, who are just boom, brand new and celebrating, they're not always wanted and they're not always revered. But in that is a true genius of life. That's where we are as people. That is who we are as a species in the best of times. You know, and I know that a lot of people are like, no, we're like artists and scientists and musicians. No, 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 no. Unfortunately, we are more like that. So like when we're looking at the whole field, energy field, if we're looking at the full bravery, the full heart and the full stamina of what it actually takes to be a human being physically, biologically on this planet, that's where it's at. It's not about like I was bored one day and I thought of a song, or like I was so lazy and then I wrote a book. It's not like this. It's not about these feats that the governments tell us are the human feats. It's about not necessarily a sports person. It's just about a real Hercules, I suppose. It's about a real hero and stepping up even without having to step up. You know, so these people that are like, hey, you're talking about me? Like, hey, what's up? What's going on here? I want to go check it out. So people that are naturally exploratory, I just want to go check it out. I don't care. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care if anybody's looking at me, or like, no, I don't care if you're listening. I'm going to sing you a song. Listen, listen. So there's like a natural explorer inside probably every person, but how this shows up kind of depends. So there's a natural teacher potentially one day. So if you find, wow, no matter how many cookies I make, I could bake more. Or like, wow, you guys, no matter like how many times I sing the song, I could sing it 12 more times, 13 more times, 20 more times. No matter how many times I do this, like trick, I can do it again and again and again. So this kind of stamina that happens out of sheer curiosity and inspiration and this brightness and this light is what eventually preserves, and all of that kind of like, yeah, well, I thought it was a good idea at the time. That needs to just die. That's gonna die. And I'm sorry, like, if you don't think that's how the world works. Staying around, you know, being okay, like, hey guys, I'm sorry, I don't really like it here, but I'm sort of trying, you know, like, I'm keeping safe. That's going to start to become distant. And also a lot of people that are kind of like, well, you know, like, I guess it's okay. Like, oh, you know, my father told me it would be okay, and I think it's gonna be okay. You know, like, that's gonna start to basically become very drab and unfashionable. Not just this, it's just gonna become unwise. So also being tricked. I talked a lot about tricksters during this month. I mean, not the month, but like just the whole time of rabbit year, like tricksters and thieves, and especially with Lilith going through Leo and Sappho there too. There's going to be just like some weird ways that people are just going to trick each other into things, and all of those people left behind were just too slow. Too slow. Oh, well, I guess I'm getting older, and I guess it's the season. I suppose, sorry, I'm talking like really crazy. I suppose I should probably wear this because, you know, it's okay. And, you know, mom said this, and my dad, you know, he died, and he was sad that I didn't get a job, and I need to get some work. You know, these types of people, they're not really masterful, even though it looks like they're doing okay. Like, nobody would have a problem with that guy. Everybody would probably support that person. It's very likely that care is given and love is poured onto like that kind of poor person, you know, that doesn't know that they should have always been like a musician, or they could have just gotten on the road and did whatever they wanted, or they should have just had fun, or they should have just done the dance of life. They should have just been dancing their whole life. Well, I guess, yeah, I get it. I don't know. I don't need this, but like, yeah, I'm young now, but then I'll be old, and I suppose I should start trying to get a job. Like, that's going to start to become very boring very quick. And then all of the people that are brilliant, or they have got somehow like a certain pull, or they're dancing a life, they've started to dance in life, or they've started to challenge, or they started to even help others expand or become curious, they're not going to be there. They're not going to be there waiting. So also, yeah, that's another painful thing. If you know that you've missed an opportunity, that person that was there a month ago is gone. That house that was there a month ago is gone. That band that was there a month ago is gone. These people that were trying to help you probably very recently probably wouldn't be able to have you around, you know. So like, it's like, oh, wait, gotta call that number. It's like, that number's gone. So it's about being quick and speedy, and kind of like, in a way, it's about being cheap. Yeah. It's like, well, this took me like freaking 5 minutes to do. Or like, that idea generated within an hour. Or like, that thing worked first time, every time. We have to be quick. What was it? Jack be nimble, Jack be quick. You know, that proverb, the English proverb, you know. So it's like all looking good, but it's all about kind of time also, that some things work. And also some things inside of us wake up. And I think there's nothing quite like a disappointment to get somebody really in the thick of it. You know, it's like, wow, that went. Wow, that guy was a fraud artist. Wow, I didn't care about myself enough. Wow, I put myself into a really dangerous situation. Or wow, I had an experience with this guy and he wasn't a good guy. Wow. So that kind of fear, it's like, whoa. I want to be lucky now. I want to be quick. Okay, I'm awake. Like, I want to see the lesson. I want to see what the school teacher says, or I want to see what life is. I want to learn. I want to change. I want help. Not a very easy time to ask for anybody to help you, but it is like a rude awakening. It's like being kind of slapped awake by life and by chance. Like, I will not miss this chance. I really want this. And that's where Taurus energy comes in, and it's like ravenous. It's like, I want this person in my life, or like I need this in my life, you know. So that's not maybe about you or anything that is happening in the world. It's just like, oh, you got to get hungry for it. You got to cry a little bit about it. To be able to help yourself to it. It's like, oh my God, that person is so beautiful. Or like, I missed the chance. Or no, that was my life partner. That was my life partner. This, I don't know what this is. I don't know what this is. That was, you know, like that kind of feeling. It's like you don't know it till it's gone. So it's just about getting aggressive. And sometimes people have to like separate to be able to feel that love for each other. Sometimes people have to lose a lot of money to understand they got to be careful with their money. Some of the time people have to be very, very rudely treated or abruptly treated to be able to like slap themselves out of this sleeping, out of this dream. And yeah, some of it is going to be just like that. So there's going to be quite a spiky, spicy, and poignant energy to some of it. And not a lot of people are going to kind of really get to know how you're feeling, how you're going. So you got to do it on your own, basically. So this is like a loner's energy. And the whole wheel, Aries is about being alone and staying strong by yourself. So it's like, you don't just go, Mom, guess what happened to me today? Like, Mom got her hands full. She probably got other things happening. So like, nobody's going to be there for you, like respecting you, representing you, trying to glue your life back together, or, you know, putting things together for you. You know, nobody's going to be there like luminous, like saving you or helping you or bringing you up or showing you where you belong. So that's the thing. The only thing that I got to add basically is try to do good for yourself. And for most people, there's nobody else. It is, and it isn't about finding help in your root system. Some people have to like own up, and they have to become more strong and more resonant in their root system. And some people, they don't need their root system anymore because it is too weak, it's too soggy, it is too humbled, it is too scared, it is too sad. So I also know that, for example, coming from like a historically negative, like karmic, you know, upbringing also, like I just know that, say for example, if I go back there and try to find inspiration or energy from my previous lives or my ancestry, it just won't work out for me. So like there are certain people that know, if I knock on that person's door, if I come back to where I'm from, I will just get anger, I will just get treated badly, I'll just be put down rather than put up. So like quite a lot of people with, for example, alcoholic parents or like abuse, being beaten down by something, some people, you know, they don't know how to go back anymore, which is actually a best thing ever. It's like, I don't think I'd ever actually be able to go back. That's not a bad thing. It's just very, very hard for some people to imagine. I can't go back to, like, say, what I used to do for a job. I can't go back to the previous state of consciousness, or I can't go back to my mother's house. I can't go back to my ex. I can't go back to sitting at a desk. I can't go back. Well, that's really cool. That means that you have outlived your life. In some people, this is like quite scary when this happens. In some people, there is something that is completely reborn and redrawn, and it's like you don't actually need to do anything you've done. You have to completely change your life. That's scary. That's really scary. It's like there is just nothing that will make any sense. You're basically treading water, or you just pretending that you're living a life here. You can't. You can't. It's like this is just. It's not like it's a box. It's not like it's that bad. It's just the story has finished. So that's also very helpful. Sometimes it's like that karma no longer exists. I don't have that karma anymore. I don't have that shadow anymore. Well, I don't have that compensation. I don't have to compensate those things anymore. So it's finished. I've stopped lying to myself, thinking that I wanted to be there. I stopped putting myself into derogatory situations. I stopped wanting to be with that person, or I stopped trying to be this person. That's awesome. And then, and then, and then, now this is where it takes a master, a big master. When you know that you've run out of karma and you finished, yeah, you've done it. Then what happens next? You have to make it, and you have to make it real, but you also have to kind of like, oh, this is hard. Create it as if it was always. Some things here are to be created as if they were always. It's like, say, I can't go back to my partner, or I can't go back to my previous job, or I can't go back. And now I have to improvise. I have to innovate. And not just that, I have to respect it also. Not just like, I'm just fluffing around, whatever. You have to live it. You have to become it. So you have to be centered in it. You got to become powerful in it. You got to like be it, like embody it. So it's not just like, oh, well, I guess I'm kind of just gonna like try that. Like I've finished my karma spectrum. I've finished my spectrum of like disease, or I no longer have a mental illness, or I don't have any friends that I don't like anymore. I don't have anything going on. I don't know. I don't know. You can't leave it there. You can't like stay straight and narrow like that. You will curve, and you might have a few different types of credits and points given to you by the people. You might kind of hiccup through life a little bit till you find your place, or till you find your place of connection, where you can actually be who you are. There's gonna be, but it's gonna be maybe in 5 or 6 months. That really sucks. It's like I've grown out of it, and now I'm like, oh, where do I go? So that's where we have to prepare you. Maybe some people have to be very, very prepared. If you've finished your karma, that's very unlikely. Not a lot of people I know that are here. Not many. Nah. So many people think, but they wouldn't be there. If you've really finished your karma, you would know. Usually a karma is finished. It's like, that person left my house. I don't even know how or why. Or like, my whole shop closed down. I don't even know how or why. My whole connection with my parents, or like, say, I don't have that anymore. I don't have this. Like, people just they are just not with anything now, or in a good way, like they sold their house, or they took all of that garbage and they put it out in the street, to the point where they have nothing left in their house. And then they're like kind of standing there. It's like it's like naked. It's like being a naked baby in a street. It's really hard. So like, basically what you have to do is, you can draw the line with me. You don't have to take this advice. But for some people, if you're really, really like honest, and you're like, wow, I've completely lost all that weight. I've completely changed my life. I changed my body. I've completely made a new person out of me, actually. Then you got to basically just stay there and feel it. Even if it is kind of like abstract or dubious, it's like, I'm just going to breathe. And I'm going to feel, okay, like we had a big ending, or like, say, I've finished that relationship, or I've finished this project, I've done it. Yeah, this is it, this completion. It's like a finished feeling, yeah. But now you have to be very, even stronger than that. And now I'm going to go and do what? What am I going to do? And sometimes you guys have ideas, and they're not usually as good as the ones that you'd probably imagine later. So the thing is not to put yourself into another state of complacency or karma. You know, so it's like, I finished cleaning that person's karma. Now I'm going to go, what, find another person to clean karma for? I don't think so. So you're like, now I'm going to stand up straight. That's the first thing. And I'm going to just be me. And I'm going to want to be me. And I'm going to maybe pretend that I don't want to do this, and I don't want to do that, or all this fiddly stuff. Usually people, when they come out of a karma, they want all the little distractions to make them feel better. Like, I'm going to get some ice cream. I guess I'm going to sit down. I guess, I don't know. That's not too bad for some people, especially older people. But like, certain people have to be really clear. Like, for example, I'm going to come out of this sect, and I'm going to go into this place where I know people are safe. Okay, I'm going to come out of my abuse story, and I'm going to get some help. Okay, I'm going to come out of my habit, and I'm going to get clean, you know. So it's a very big choice that you have. It's a very big chance. And for a lot of people, they can, my God, they can almost happen on a different side of the planet. They can immigrate, they can change, they can become different people, they can re-identify. Certain people can completely forget who they were, and they can completely become who they really always wanted to be. So that's also kind of happening in my case a little bit, but not too much. It's not too bad. I will have to probably show you guys some of my wares. I've been decorating pieces of clothing and reviving old objects that I've had. And not apologizing anymore. I'm just so tired of apologizing for things that I never even did. And that means that I don't have any parents anymore, any karma with my parents, which is kind of a weird feeling, you know. So like I've noticed, like, say, shedding my weight or shedding my energy and no longer wishing to be like a little mouse in somebody else's house and having to compromise with somebody who doesn't even care. There's always been, I think most people in the world have experienced that, at least in some past life or at some state in their life. Not needing to be that base, not needing to be that kind of like small little person now. Small little person just cleaning somebody else's shoes, you know, just taking out the garbage and sorry that, you know, sorry I'm so weird, you know, that kind of shit has to go, that has to leave. People have to really learn about themselves more than that. So these base roles, it's like, well, I guess I'll just be a mom now, or like, well, I guess I'll just pretend not to hear what they're saying, or, well, I don't know, as long as everybody leaves me alone, I'm kind of happy here. You know, that has to leave, that has to end. But that takes ages, that takes time. Sometimes it takes lifetimes just to learn not to be in that disheveled, debilitated, woe's me, like, oh, my life feeling. So I'm learning to get rid of that feeling, that bulk, that energy. But also, like, don't force it. If you are not fully ready for a change, that's okay. Okay, this is a longer recording. Hope this has been helpful, at least to somebody out there, yes, and I hope to see you again. And if you like, check out my Patreon. Get a reading with me if you like. I do really good readings, if I may say so myself. And also, if you like, yes, you can visit Peru, and I will be here. And yes, there is ayahuasca. Yes, it is true. It is true. It's legal here. It is. It's been a part of my journey. But that's not the point of my life. That's not even the point of coming here. The point of coming here is like retreat. We have a retreat center and nice food and people and stuff. If you don't get it, don't worry about it. Thank you very much. Enjoy, and I'll see you next time.